Hello, everyone. Welcome to another exciting episode of the Career Evangelist Podcast. Today, we are joined by James Hilovsky, a dedicated franchise broker with a passion for empowering entrepreneurs and sports professionals. James brings a wealth of experience in personalized franchise matching and rigorous due diligence by ensuring his clients make informed and successful business decisions. So whether you are assessing franchise opportunity or you are just looking to see how you can grow your income, you are going to want to hear from James as he shares his wealth of experience with us. Without further ado, I will bring in our guest. Hey, James, how are you doing?
Great. Thank you so much for having me on the show. I really appreciate it.
Awesome. It's good to have you here, James, and thank you very much for joining our community. So my listeners, they would like to hear from you. They want to know you. They want to know what you do, and they are going to be interested in what they are going to learn and gain from this episode today. So can you please introduce yourself to us, James?
Yes. So what I do is I'm a franchise broker and I match athletes, professionals to franchise business opportunities. So anybody who's looking to get in business for their own and they think they might want to go down the franchise path, I help them in a variety of different ways. I have over 500 franchise brands in my inventory. So my whole goal is to find out, basically owner operator models, passive models, kind of investment level, and the industries of interest. Then also, there may be 5, 10 different options that I think would really be great fits. And then I introduce the candidate to the franchisor and stay with them during the whole time to make sure that, hey, we need to know how to read an FDD. We know how to verify with franchisees in the system. If we need funding, I can help them if there's funding issues and make those introductions. And so I'm basically advising and staying with the client the whole way through. And the great thing about it is I work based off of, I get paid out of the franchisor's marketing budget. So the client doesn't pay me anything or have to pay any extra fees. So it's definitely a win-win to take the advice of a franchise broker.
Awesome. I love win-win situation. And I do not want to make any assumption here today. In my audience, I have lots of working professionals. I also have small business owners. But let's break it down to them. What does it mean by franchise business? What does that mean?
Yeah, that's a great question because franchise business, typically when you're thinking franchise, you're thinking Dunkin' Donuts, McDonald's, just the big restaurants. That's what you're thinking a franchise is. Well, that's really, if you drive down the street and you look at all the signs or the trucks that go by you, chances are about 50% of those are franchise businesses. And it's in many different industries, from the restoration business to plumbing to even indoor golf studios and a franchise business. What they do is they support you from basically the beginning. They'll help you with site selection. The franchisor will. They'll help you with training. So even if you're someone who goes, hey, I want to get into the dog grooming business, but I've never groomed a dog, they train you how to do that, the people to hire, and how you're just going to be running the business and managing the manager or hiring the right people. They help you do that. They have systems in place via marketing, via accounting wise, and then POS systems, and they help you with build out. And then they also, once you are open, they give you that ongoing support of a daily check-in. Well, maybe like a weekly, monthly check-in, depends on the franchise. But what you also have in a franchise system is you have support of franchisees that are in the system that are there. So if you're experience a problem, you could call the franchisee down the street or right in the state next to you and going, hey, here's the trouble I had. How did you handle this? So you have a wealth of business knowledge helping you in your business when you're in a franchise system.
Awesome. So maybe let's take it a step further. Can you share with us maybe some of your background and how your journey in becoming a franchise broker?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was in the restaurant industry. I was in a large corporation where I was a district manager, regional manager, and from there I had a company that another company that said, "Hey, we have one unit. We want to we want to expand. Come help us run our franchise unit." So we had one unit at the time. I helped build that over to 100 units, supporting the franchisees and the franchise group. So I would help them open their store as well as help support and be that ongoing support for them. And then the largest franchisee came to me and said, "Hey, will you come, partner with us and run our operation?" So we had our restaurants, and then we wound up getting into another ice cream franchise that we did a couple stores for. We did our own cookie dough concept, and then we did our own coffee shop. And at the time, they were two NFL players that were there. And one of the brothers then retired after a while, and the other brother got hurt, couldn't fulfill the rest of his contract. And they just decided, hey, we kind of want to get out of the restaurant business. And I was perfectly fine with that. But they went into the tequila business, which love the tequila business, nothing wrong with that, but just not really my passion and my area of expertise. So I went into the franchise business and in the franchise world of just wanting to help people find right businesses and match for them, because in my experience around the NFL brothers, I saw a bunch of business opportunities come up to them that were just crazy opportunities that were just because they knew that they had some money that they would probably invest in it, which they were pretty smart. They were pretty wise with their money, which they did not invest into some of those things. And I just said, really, I could go out and help people find franchises. In the franchises in my inventory, that's 400 to 500. There's about 2,000 franchises or more out there, but those are the ones that have been vetted and that I feel are really good franchise systems that give you a great chance to succeed, where you're going to get that ongoing support.
So when considering whether or not to go into a franchise business, I'm sure there will be some qualities or mindset that you would consider as essential for success. So what are those for people that may want to consider starting a franchise business? What are the key mindsets or key qualities that you would say are essential for success?
Yeah, I would think really the one thing that is just the fear, the fear of going out and starting your own business or going out there. I think that mindset is, hey, I'm going to dive into it. I'm going to give it 150%. And, I'm going to make this work. If you can let go of that fear. And I think that's one of the biggest mindsets that you can change. And just remember going off on your own, but especially in a franchise business, you're going to have all that ongoing support and people pulling for you and giving you that advice. So, they're basically going to give you a playbook and you're going to follow it. So the fear is one thing. You just have to go, hey, take a leap of faith and, bet on yourself instead of, corporate America that has you that, maybe in 5 years when you're getting a little older or you're making a little bit more money, they might want to downsize. That there's no loyalty anymore. They just get over that fear and bet on yourself and go into business to where you can create generational wealth.
Oh, that's awesome. You are telling people to bet on themselves. I do tell my audience this every so often because that's really the best path to success. Now let's talk about misconceptions because I know some people, they may not know all the details about franchising, right? So what are some misconceptions that are common to franchising as you know it?
Yeah. So misconceptions in franchising are, hey, they just want your money. They just want the top line. Why give them all these fees that they pay, and you pay some astronomical fees. And well, you are paying a one-time franchise fee, but that's going to help with your training, get your business set up, getting if it's a brick and mortar, help you with that site selection, and then the ongoing fees that are in there. It ranges from 5 to 7% of your sales. But just think of it this way: that is that advice that you're paying for, those systems, those processes that you pay for, and some of it, the misconceptions too, is okay. Well, I'm in this business. I don't have any say. Well, that's not entirely true. A lot of times franchisors will go, hey, yeah, we could try this new product. I'll give you, an opportunity to test that product if that's maybe something, but you definitely have a voice. There's franchisees are on a council where they can have a lot of influence within the franchisor. Also, I think that people go, once you're in a franchise, you're locked in it for 10 years because you do sign a 10-year agreement. But that's your asset. It's your business. Everything in that business is yours. So you can sell that business in that 10-year space. You can add on, get another territory, or let's just say something happened to where you got sick, couldn't run the business. You still have all the assets that you bought for the business to sell. So it's not like that you're locked in with the franchise. You do have different options to grow, build your business.
Awesome. So now let's talk about your process. Can you walk us through your due diligence process for assessing potential franchise opportunities?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Great question. So a client will come to me and say, I'm looking to get into the franchise business. So we're going to talk about, okay, well, you have liquidity, liquid cash. I would suggest that you have probably at least about 50,000 of liquid cash to be able to get an SBA loan that you're going to get approved on, and then also think of a total investment. What's that going to look like? You're comfortable with 200,000 and under, or over 200,000. If you want food, well, we're talking 500,000 and above, because those are the most expensive investment levels. But that's kind of what we're going to kind of hone in on. And if you just want to see your options and all that, that's great. But then we also ask, are you looking to be an owner operator? Meaning you're going to transition for your job now and you're going to run the day to day. Or do we want to look at different franchises to where you can hire a manager to run the day to day? It'll be your business, but you'll be hiring you'll be basically having a manager and just being overseeing your manager. And sometimes most of the time you can keep your current job, and then you could transition into that once you have the business up and running. And then you could some of the key things, people will go, well, I'll wait till I get to territory or unit number 2, then I'll transition out of my job into that. So those are very important questions of the goals of owning a business, of how to do that. And then we'll talk about, okay, what industries do you have of interest? And we'll go through all the different industries that are out there, and whether it be in pets and senior care, in pest control, home services, in sports franchises, health and wellness, muscle recovery. So we go through gyms. We go through a big list, and they'll go, they'll give me what they have interest in, and then I'll show them maybe 5 to 10 different options that I would recommend that I think would be great. And they'll go, hey, James, I like these 1 or 2. I'll introduce them to the franchisor. And then, like I was saying, I'll stay with them during the whole time, because the franchisor, when you talk with the franchisor, it's not like talking with a used car salesman. You're talking with a franchisor. They're basically interviewing you as much as you're interviewing them during the process, and learning, much like we're talking now, because, hey, you're going to be their business partner. And you got to make sure it's going to be a great fit for both of you. So that's very important. And then you keep having meetings of, here's what our marketing program is going to look like. Here's what our operations team is going to look like, to where they feel you have a great grasp and knowledge of the whole system. to where you can make your decision. And during that time, they will also send out a FDD, which is a franchise disclosure document, which has all the fees and basically what the investment level's going to be like and for that franchise. So you have that document. And then what I always suggest is when you're looking at a franchise, verify with franchisees in the system. And what you want to find out in there is, hey, how quickly did you make your money back? When were you profitable? Would you do it again? And the main thing is, what kind of support do you get from the franchisor? And if you feel it, talk to franchisees, because some of them are going to be, oh, this is you're not all going to get all perfect, because I don't think there's a perfect system out there. You want to look for the majority of them that are going to be perfect for sure. But you're also, the most important thing is, what kind of support are you getting from the franchisor? Because if you get great support from the franchisor, you both have a mutual respect and think it'll be a great partnership. That's going to be your biggest key indicator of if you're going to be successful or not.
Oh, that's great. Thank you very much, James, for stating all those for us. And I think you touched on a few very important points. You talked about SBA loan for a franchisee, you or someone that is intending to start a franchise business. You talked about training that is available from the franchisor. And I know you also mentioned the network effect, because you are going to get support. They will help with location. They will help with setting up the business, which is a lot, in my opinion, easier than somebody out there just sitting down and trying to start on their own without having all this network of support. So this is a great one. Now, you also mentioned industries, and I'm curious to know what are some industries that you've maybe been working with in the recent year.
Yeah, so I would say the one of the most industries with one of the really high margins that you really wouldn't think of would be in the pet industry, specifically in dog grooming.
Yeah.
Dog grooming, your margins are in the 30 to 40% range. There's a dog grooming franchise out there that, you're talking 1,200 square foot of a building. That's all you need. So it's not big, and they have a really good rub because they do a subscription based. So imagine $45 a dog. You could take in as many times as you want during the month. So right there, you're blowing away your competition.
Yeah.
And the investment level on that's under 200,000, and your money's back well within the first year potentially. So that's one of the hotter ones that's out there with really good margins. There's muscle recovery studios for young athletes that are out there that you can have a brick and mortar. You could take a mobile unit into when there's tournaments going on. So you have that mobile unit, and then you have the subscription based in the brick and mortar that does compression boots and muscles, stimulating the muscles, so they're getting recovered quick, and red light therapy. So that's another great franchise that's out there for under $150,000. There's indoor golf studio that indoor golf simulator where you come practice your golf game. 24/7 access, zero employees because it's 24/7. You just need someone to maybe clean up and tidy up. So it's a really good franchise to where if you're looking at keeping your job, it's something you could build and transition in, because you really don't have to do much legwork on that. So those are a couple ones out there, as well as you think of window washing, and the margins in there are 30 to 40% as well, that does really well. So and most industries usually have one nugget in there that's like that, and you just definitely have to kind of find them. But the most all industries are pretty strong. Senior care is strong out there as well, and restoration business is super strong as well.
Oh, this is good. I like one of the points that you mentioned, that people can transition into it, because as I said earlier, I have many working professionals in my in my audience, and many of them they have this entrepreneurial mindsets, and they are considering starting a business. And I'm sure they would jump on any idea that can help them to work part-time while they build their franchise business. So I appreciate you for mentioning that. How do you help clients manage and understand risk that are associated with franchising? Because like every other thing out there, I'm sure there will be some risk in this as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think the biggest thing to manage risk, and I think the thing that comes up really is, and we mentioned this earlier, is that fear. You definitely are going to have risk. It is going to be a risk. The biggest thing you can do is, you know, bet on yourself, but also, what is going to give you the best chances for success? And I would just say, if you're going into it in a franchise system with the franchise support and all those franchisee support, because you might just think some of the other things is like, well, it's a franchise, they've sold one, they don't care. Well, they want you to succeed because they don't want someone to go, oh yeah, we have a franchise system, but 5 of the units closed this year because we couldn't get them profitable. That's not what they're all about. They're all about helping entrepreneurs out there, and they want you to grow your business. So I think really the risk factor is your risk is mitigated a little bit by the franchise system, because you are going to have that support. They have gone through the pitfalls that already that you're facing, that they know how to adjust, as well as you have those franchisees in the system. So yeah, I would say, fear, and just know that you have that help there are going to help you with your risk. But yes, it is a risk. But if you're trying to bet on yourself, and it's all a risk. Always people think that, hey, real estate's a great thing to get into, that there's not much risk in it. Well, if you're renting out a property and your renter leaves and they turn the water on before they go, or they pour concrete down the sinks, that's going to cost you a pretty penny. So there's risk in everything that you do, and why not do it with a team to support you?
Absolutely. And you mentioned systems a couple of times. And I do agree with you. Starting a franchise business means you are going into a business that has a system in place already. And I think that is way easier and better than starting something from the ground up and trying to build that system. So thank you for mentioning that. Now, I love success stories. Can you share with us a success story of a client that you helped and who has maybe started a franchise business, maybe last year or this year, and how you walked this person through the process?
Yeah, so I had a client that was in corporate America, making a really good salary, or really good, and he's like, well, my job's okay. I make really good money. I'm really struggling because my kids are in sports. I'm really kind of, I make what I can, but I would love to be able to make everything. And I'm looking for something to be able to do to where I can transition out of, my job. And we looked at different industries that were out there. We looked at the restoration area. We looked at, some in pest control. We looked at we looked at actually a car franchise that did oil changes that were there, and but we kept going through some different things, and then we got into dog grooming, and he loved that concept, the dog groomer I was telling you about. And what was really why he really loved it was, he was like, well, my wife loves it, my kids love it. What I think we're going to do, we're going to sign up for a 3 territory deal. After talking with he fell in love with the franchisor, visited a site, did all his homework, They just decided, we're going to do a 3-store deal. The first one, my wife is going to run the day-to-day, and the kids are going to be involved in the business. I mean, they're high school kids, so they can be involved in a little bit of it. And he said, my whole plan is to, after we open up the second one, then I'm going to transition out. And then the third one will basically be, where we're going to set that up for the kids. And then we add on there, it's just going to be more generational wealth, because we see this franchise as something we want to build and build a little dog grooming, empire.
I like that. And I like everything about generational wealth. We have to be able to help the upcoming generation. Thank you very much, James, for sharing that. Now let's talk about the Fran Dream. Tell us more about Fran Dream. How do you walk through the process of matching? Because I know you are matching two people, the franchisor and the franchisee. How does that process work? How can my audience benefit and take advantage of what you are doing?
Yeah, I mean, I just would love anybody. You could go to the frandream.com. There's a lot of different educational pieces on my website, as well as there is a business assessment that you can take, and it will tell you. It kind of helps me too when I work with clients of, this might be where you have a lot of strength in this area, and you would be matched up really good with a gym concept, or a wedding dress concept that does that. So, there's assessments. There's a business assessment on there. There's a form you could fill out to where, I could email you. You could email me. I could get back with you. We could have a simple phone call. Really, it just starts out with a phone call, and just let's talk about franchising, and what are you looking at, and is it a fit for you? Maybe if you're a person that goes, I really don't like to follow systems. I kind of want to do my own thing. I want to be a lone ranger out there. Well, franchising might not be for you. And we just have those conversations of going, do we think it's a fit? And let's just go along this journey of seeing if we find a great fit for you, and that it's something that we could just keep exploring, because at the end of the day, it doesn't hurt to learn more about franchising, look what's out there. And then even when you're talking with a franchisor and you go, gosh, that's not a fit, but just tell me, and then I'll make the call to the franchisor and say, hey, you know what, it's just not a fit at this time. And they're perfectly fine with that, and okay with that. So I will handle all your, introducing you, and if it doesn't work out, of handling those phone calls, and taking care of, just basically your needs and advice, and anything about franchising, I'd love to talk to with anybody about.
That's awesome. So the world that we live today keeps evolving. It's the world of AI today, and I'm thinking about franchising. So what do you see as the future of franchise business, and how are you preparing your client for that future?
Yeah, so a lot of the franchisors are looking at what enhancements can AI do to their business. So a lot of the franchisors are doing that. When I look at my personal business, I look at maybe capturing some lead gen via the AI, and then I also go, well, what if someone just puts in, I want a franchise and I want to put it in AI? Well, AI is really good, but they don't have the experience, and they don't have the expertise of telling you, hey, this is exactly, a franchise to go with. They might say, hey, one of the largest franchises is Subway, go with Subway. And if you went AI, and I would go, well, you don't want to go with Subway, because they've struggled in recent times of, they don't give you a big area of protected territory, and probably is not a really good franchise to go into, because they could build one, less than a mile away from you, and cannibalize your unit. So things like that of the knowledge of franchising, the franchise system, I don't think that AI can help you find the perfect match.
No, that's correct. So, as we are rounding up, what advice would you give to someone that is considering starting a franchise business as their path to business ownership?
Yeah, so I would just say, hey, one, let's make sure the family's on board. Two, let's make sure that, that there is a risk. So let's try to, that we can put the fear to rest by finding a great system that's going to give you that great support. And then it's just basically let's find that great partnership, let's find that great support, and let's just get started on your journey to entrepreneurship, and we'll find the right match, whether that means you're going to run the day to day right away, or we're going to transition into it. So that's what I would say. And be comfortable with the situation. We will make sure we take care of you.
Fantastic. So finally, James, I want to give you the opportunity to maybe in a minute share with my audience maybe something that we've not touched on that you would like them to know about franchising business.
Yeah, I just say, franchising business, they give you the playbook to be successful. Just follow it. And when we sit down and we talk about the possibilities of the industries are out there, it could just blow you away of what is a franchise that can support you, and that there is a franchise out there that I guarantee you will strike your interest, pique your interest, and will give you that great support, and we'll find it, and you'll have hopefully a generation of wealth from it.
So good. Thank you very much, James, for coming on the show today. I've enjoyed this conversation, and I know that my audience, they are going to find it beneficial as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
All right, sir.